Hey there, everyone. Going to give this just a second to populate on the various feeds, going live on a few different locations here. Unfortunately, this is not going live on YouTube. For some reason, I have to wait 24 to 48 hours for YouTube to approve that, probably because I just activated it with our third-party tool. But no biggie, kind of bob and weave, ebb and flow, be flexible, adaptable, that sort of stuff. So I'm going live on a bunch of other places. And then this will be posted after it renders onto YouTube. Okay. So this is Kingdom Treasury. I mean, you're seeing me, seeing the wall pictures, that sort of stuff. I'm going to share my screen here in just a moment. Kind of got a little outline that I want to go through. The main thing that I wanted to just show up today and kind of put this first video out there. I've had a lot of different thoughts on what to cover in this first video. I wanted to be careful not to be a fire hose to the face, which is very easy to have happen in this space, in this decentralized finance world, in supporting ministry world, that sort of thing. And so it took me a few days to kind of really wrap my head around what I wanted to talk about. And that really culminated in a bunch of other videos that I want to produce, some that will be public and some that will be private within our community only. And so let me go ahead and share my screen here. Hopefully you guys can see this. And as I just mentioned just a moment ago, this is going to be a public video. Okay, so this will be on the YouTube channel. It'll be on the Facebook page, the Facebook group. It's not going live to my profile right now, but that's okay. And so I want to kind of start at the beginning. Okay, so the overview of what Kingdom Treasury is, and this has been a vision that's been in my heart, on my mind for about 18 years. Now, I did not know 18 years ago, I didn't even really know a year ago, what the shape of this vision was going to be. But it was something that God very distinctly planted inside my heart. In fact, he woke me up in the middle of the night one time, and there's really only been about two or three, definitely two I can identify, possibly a third if I think about it, times in my life where I really feel that that burning bush moment in your life with, like, God appeared to Moses in the burning bush and spoke to him. And so while the bush wasn't on fire, the house wasn't on fire when I was awakened, I definitely, audibly heard from God, so to speak. And so that's something that I've shared, that occurrence. I've shared that with people along the journey of my life. But more specifically, I've shared like what God said to me, and what he said at that time is not really, I don't want to use the word prudent, but just it, the exact words God said doesn't matter right this second, is what I'm trying to communicate, because that has really, not so much morphed or transitioned, but it has become more clear. It has manifested itself, so to speak, in its current format. And so that's what is important. And what, as as a Christian, God in his own timing does things. And so I was just sitting and resting in this idea, taking steps forward here and there, growing, maturing myself, as a business owner, as a business leader, as an investor, as a husband, as a father, as a member of my community, as a supporter of Christian ministries and projects. And so over the last 18 years, there was preparation that God had to do in my life to get me to this place, I believe. And transparently, I think the world wasn't really ready for this. The world didn't have the technology for this 18 years ago. And all that to say that decentralized finance is the tool, is the vehicle that we're using at the moment to accomplish this. 18 years from now, it may be something different. I don't know what God's going to do, and I don't have to know what God's going to do 18 years from now in the future, just like I did not know how God was going to deliver on the vision and the desire that he put into my heart and that he spoke to me 18 years ago. So Kingdom Treasury, we emphasize really stewardship today so that we can provide hope for tomorrow. And we specifically exist, everything we do, the frame that we put around everything is that we exist to support smaller Christian ministries and projects. And those projects and ministries are going to typically emphasize rescue, restoration, and resilience across creation. Okay. So rescue, restoration, and resilience across creation. Now, what does that mean, right? Well, on our website, if you've been to our website, you have possibly seen this. If you've not been to our website, I want to tell you right now, I want to encourage you to go to kingdomtreasury.org. It's really, really simple. Kingdomtreasury.org. And you'll be taken to this website here. And I'll go through this website with you in just a couple of moments. But I want to focus in down here on, we support those who. So we support those smaller Christian ministries and projects that emphasize rescue. What do we mean by rescue? Rescuing to us is organizations and efforts and energy and missions that build bridges of trust to really safely remove creation, whether that's a human, whether that's animals, whether that is, the phylums and the kingdoms, the fungi and plants and all that crazy stuff. Not even crazy, but just, all of creation, right? Like creation is just not humanoids. God created everything, and we believe God owns everything. That's why stewardship is so important. And that's why Kingdom Treasury, we're stewarding a message, and you'll see that as you read through the website. And if you download the document that's on there and watch the videos that are inside that document, as well as a video that's on the website here, you will understand that Kingdom Treasury, while yes, we exist to support smaller mission organizations and projects and people that are out there doing the work to build Christ's kingdom, that are rescuing, that are restoring, that are help making creation resilient, whether that's a soul, a human life, or whether that's creation as in the tangible world that we can touch and interact with. Okay. So building bridges of trust to safely remove from danger. So we recognize that Christ is the ultimate rescuer, right? God sent his only begotten son so that whosoever would not perish. Okay, we are not trying to become Christ or replace Christ. We are simply saying that organizations that emphasize rescue, perhaps that's human trafficking, perhaps that is again, rescuing animals from danger. Maybe there is a fire somewhere in the world, and out of that is not only the human life, the sanctity of human life, but the sanctity of all of creation. And so there might be aspects that people are involved with there that we help support them to do that. The second R is restore. So we want to help those smaller ministries, those people, those projects that are then reestablishing life. They're helping to build structural units and ultimately relationships. Okay. And again, this is across all of creation, from the humans that God created all the way down to the fungi and everything in between, right? And so anything that is helping to reestablish life, reestablish structural units, maybe that's family units, right? Also the relationships, husbands and wives relationships, father and son, mother and daughter, all those relationships that exist, community relationships, right? There's a lot that can fit underneath that. We want to help people with that restoration by helping to fund that. And the third kind of pillar that we stand on is to make resilience. It's one thing to rescue somebody to help restore somebody or something. And then it's another to really help them thrive, to help them be clear on their purpose. I think in particular of one of the first supportee um, organizations that we are helping to fund, and they are helping with adult Christian education, for lack of a better word, right? To help the lay person become equipped biblically to be a leader in their churches, not for the sake of becoming a pastor, so to speak, or an elder or whatever, although that may be the case, but just people that have everyday jobs, and maybe they are teaching Sunday school or lead a small group or whatever, but they themselves want to dive deeper. And really, in particular, this organization that we support is actually in a country that is heavily has a large population of Catholic followers. And so, you know, people helping organizations like that where Christianity in and of itself, outside of the religious umbrella of a large denomination, arguably, as Catholicism might be called, we can have that conversation later if you like, but helping to empower those people to uh, thrive with that purpose of being able to lead others to that personal relationship with Christ, helping people live better, improving their community, improving their life, domesticating risk. I use that a lot in the financial world, the investment world that I kind of like living in, so to speak. But the idea of domesticating risk, of how do we build asymmetry to the upside, and limit the downside asymmetry, or the downside risk. And so one of the ways you do that is by building in systems and building in structures and relationships that people, and again, all of creation can, where all of creation can ultimately identify that purpose, but really that thrive within that purpose, and then have that structure, that support system, the resources, for lack of a better word, to come around them, um, whether that is financially, whether that is relationally, etc. And so that rescue, restore, and make resilient. Those are really the core three areas that Kingdom Treasury is going to focus. And as you can imagine, that could be pretty broad, right? I just explained, 15 different things that this could be, or rather, not what it could be, but the types of smaller Christian ministries and projects that we support. I think of a missionary that's in Colombia that we've personally supported. Kingdom Treasury does not yet support them, but this person is kind of a one-woman army, and she is in Colombia, and for decades has brought Christ to the prisons there, and just the transformed, not her, but Christ, through her, Christ transformed the most dangerous prison in the world into now one of the safest and one of the highest populations of Christians. And I think of one of the guys that was in there that is now out, and just the way that God is using him. It's amazing. And so, a lot of times missionaries, they'll be underneath a supporting missions organization, and that missions organization might take 10% or whatever percentage it is. And so one of the problems that we've identified and even experienced as supporters ourselves of these various missionary Christian missionaries and the projects, is that we end up with um, we end up with not we the missionary ends up focusing so much time on building. It's the wrong word. They spend a lot of time chasing dollars. Okay. more specifically chasing donations. And I don't mean that in the negative sense. What I really mean is that they spend this time and their energy when they should be on furlough, reconnecting with their spouse or their family, or when they're on sabbatical or they're traveling wherever. It's like they almost feel this obligation to visit all these various churches and all these various people that are supporting them. And I do not want to diminish the relationship. Look, the relationship is critical. It's mission critical. I could add that in here. It falls under restoration. It falls under resilience. But instead of being in the mission field, or in the mission field being wherever, right? Whether that's the people around your kitchen table or whether that's somewhere else around the globe, separate from where your physical residency is, so to speak. Wherever your mission field is, wherever their mission field is, when they're away from that, they're still in missions mode, so to speak, but on the administrative side, perhaps, and in most cases on the administrative side. And so we saw this problem that existed, and it's something that I wanted to try to help solve for a long time. I didn't want to have missionaries go through their head office to get approval for whatever, right? And there's accountability there, which is important. So I'm not discounting that, but I do want to highlight and point out that there is red tape, just like in denominations. There's been a whole lot of politics and red tape that exists now in missions and in church, that we're actually not getting the work of Christ done, whatever that is, right? And for whomever that is. The work of Christ is not limited to going and knocking on doors and asking people if they know if they die tonight where they're going to end up. Evangelism is absolutely one aspect of what God has called us to. But I think for like myself, I know. I was in 2006, I believe the year. Yeah, 2006 was South Africa, 2009 was Portugal. So 2006, I was in South Africa for like 20, 21 days, something like that. I don't remember the exact time frame, but it was like 3 weeks almost, okay? And it was a missions trip. I raised funds just like everybody else does. I supplied some of my own funds. And what happened, like when I went there, I envisioned that I was going to be knocking on doors in another country and asking people if they died tonight, if they know where they would, whether or not they'd go to heaven. And what happened was I realized that I had certain skill sets, in particular in technology and computers and all that sort of stuff. I had leadership abilities that the churches there in South Africa, the places that we went to support, they needed help getting their computer going. They needed help making sure their computer was secure. They needed help networking multiple computers together. They needed help thinking strategically about their church. So that's when I like, there was a connection, a light bulb, an epiphany happened for me, where I realized that missions work isn't limited to knocking on doors. And it was shortly thereafter, I believe, I don't remember the exact year, that God really spoke to me and said, hey, this is, XYZ is going to happen. And I didn't know that XYZ was going to equate to Kingdom Treasury again 18 years ago. But this is where we're at now. And so we're at a place where I personally try to focus on stewarding today and providing hope for tomorrow. And I want to help solve the problem of smaller ministries and projects having to go through all the red tape. And we're in this beautiful space and time in history where we can do that through decentralized finance, right? Decentralized finance and how to engineer wealth for Christ's kingdom. Does that mean some wealth for you and your family? Very possibly so. What do I think you should do with that wealth? I think you should fund Christ's kingdom. That's what I think. That's what we're doing. You don't have to do what we're doing. You don't have to think that. I want you to do you. Okay? I want you to do what God is calling you to do. God has called me at this point in time to develop and to lead Kingdom Treasury. I don't have all the answers. I don't know what it's going to look like 6 months from now. I don't know what it's going to look like 5 years from now. But I'm trusting God, and I'm seizing this opportunity in this point in time in history with the invention, I'll say, of decentralized finance, of DeFi, and how that can rapidly accelerate and really revolutionize God's people financially. And we all know that we need money to make the world go round. We all know that we need time to make the world go round. And so I want to help people do that for themselves while we're doing it for us in our lives and for our businesses. And if that means that, well, I got sidetracked there. I was trying to fix my screen, the view here, so it wasn't funky for you looking at me overlaid on top of me there in the video. So probably the easiest thing would have been just to scroll down a little bit. Look, Jesus is king. That's what I believe. That's what my wife believes. That's what our son believes. That's what our family believes. We exist to support smaller Christian ministries and projects that emphasize rescue, restoration, and resilience across creation. Just as Christ came to seek and save the lost, so we are here to help those who cultivate hope. God created the earth and all that is within it to have fellowship with us and to bring glory unto him. It is no surprise that through the thousands of years since creation, sin has destroyed much of his glory, leading souls, people, creatures, and kingdoms in need of the light and love of Christ until he returns and makes the earth anew. We help those who cultivate hope. We help those who rescue, who restore, who make resilient. And I want to do it in such a way that they don't have to go through a bunch of red tape. I want to do it in such a way that it doesn't take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to fund their mission. I want to bless their socks off financially. And I want to see God I want to see God grow them so that they can steward the financial blessing. And I want to see God then bless them financially. And I believe that one of the ways, probably not the only way, but one of the ways and one of the tools, one of the vehicles he's going to do to use that is through Kingdom Treasury. That's what I believe. And so that's why I'm out here trying to steward this message. So, 3 C's, solvable problem. If you've been to our website, you need to click this, sorry, not the gray button. You can click the gray button, absolutely. I'll talk about that in a minute. And when you click the gold button, the orangish gold button, learn how to engineer wealth for Christ's kingdom, okay? That'll pop up this little thing right here. Enter your name, your email, say I'm not a robot, click submit. In your email, you're going to get a document, Google Doc, okay? I talk about it here in the video. I talk about it more on the website. I'm not going to go into detail right this second for you because I don't want to bore you. I don't want to take the responsibility away from you to take action. I don't want to do all the work for you. That's part of what I believe and what I stand for and how I'm building Kingdom Treasury is that it helps move you closer to what you want. And so in that document, you're going to see several, the 3 R's, the 3 C's, and the 6 C's of success. Sorry, the 3 R's are only on the website at the moment. The 3 C's is, of the solvable problem and the 6 C's of success. And I'm going to take just a brief moment to talk about that here. I'm about like 25 minutes into this video. Honestly, some videos will be 5, 10, 15 minutes. Some might be 25 or 30. This one, I don't know, might be 40, 45 minutes, an hour. I don't really know, but I'm just rapping here. So if you've got to pause the video, go get a sip of coffee, go to the bathroom, go to work, come back and watch it. Watch this several times. All of these videos that I'm going to be doing, whether they're public or whether they're private just for our community, it's important because what I'm hoping to teach you, let me take that back. What I know I'm going to be teaching you, what I know that I'm going to be communicating to you is you're probably not going to catch it the first time you hear it. Why do I know that? Because not only myself, but literally thousands of other people that have heard similar content, in particular about the solvable problem here, it's rewiring your brain. Right? We're going from a centralized idea, centralized finance to decentralized. And that's really, really hard for people to wrap their head around. And so that's like if I just jump down here of like why not, and who. What's that's on page 3, right? Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit here. There we go. You can see that, right? This is the technology adoption curve, the technology adoption cycle. There's not times on here. It does usually take, depending on the technology, anywhere from 10 to 20 years. Sometimes things happen a little faster. It can be like 5 to 8 years for things to be adopted. Case in point, social media, right? Social media took about 5 years to 8 years to really become mainstream, okay? What I want you to understand about decentralized finance is that we're right here. We're arguably on the bleeding edge. And so really this is for people that are Christian, that are visionaries, that are early adopters. I don't actually think there's any more risk in what we're doing. In fact, I think there's less risk in what we are doing from a financial standpoint. But some people aren't ready yet. Some people don't have that belief yet. And so they might be in the early majority. They might be more pragmatic. They might be conservative. They might be skeptics and saying, yeah, this decentralized finance, that thing's going to get regulated and out the door it goes. Well, yes, it's going to get regulated. But I will tell you what happens right now when regulation comes. It's going to be an amazing thing. Because all of a sudden, that's going to give permission to all the pragmatists and permission to all the conservatives, all the CFOs out there that are in charge of managing hundreds of millions and in some cases billions of dollars for companies. They have an obligation to their shareholders. All those conservative and pragmatic types, they're going to now have permission and legal covering to jump on board to decentralized finance. And I'll just say like one little caveat here, because I'm starting to get into some weeds that you may not be ready for, and I understand that. So when I say decentralized finance, there's a history that I cover in this document, right? So if I zoom out here and I've got an outline here. I cover some history in here. I point you to some stuff that you need to go look into a little bit more to get a base foundational understanding. Like I can't teach all of that in a 15, 20-minute video here. I put together a large document. I distilled down, I synthesized hundreds of hours of video and tens and tens and tens of thousands of words into this base case and build overview document, which again, you can get. It's free. I'm not charging anything for it. I'm not telling you what to do, so to speak. I'm telling you, go click the gold button. Read about it. Okay? So if you're an innovator, you're a visionary, you don't mind a little bit of perceived risk. Again, it's not actual risk in my opinion. And there's the math that quantifies that indicates it's less risky. Um, if that's you, I want you to click that gold button. Okay. So, solvable problem. In this document, you're going to learn part of Dan Nicholson, who's a very, very brilliant CPA and math guy, and has written a lot of the accounting standards for companies like Microsoft. He worked in the hedge fund and hedge funds isn't the right word. Derivatives market is the word I was looking for. Hedge funds use derivatives, but anyways, derivative markets, and had a fellowship there on the national board, and so very, very smart guy. Okay, and he simplified a lot of this stuff about the solvable problem, and I just want to summarize the solvable problem here for you. Let me just type here real quick. Is going to move you closer to what you want. Okay. If decentralized finance does not move you closer to what you want, you shouldn't do it. If working more hours in your job so that you can have more time at home doesn't move you closer to what you want, which is more time at home, don't do it. Okay. If whatever it is you're doing, if Kingdom Treasury does not move you closer to what you want, don't support it. Don't think about becoming a supportee just because you want the money, just because you're chasing dollars, just because you want more. Okay. This is not a get more program, for lack of a better word. This is a move you closer to what you want. And I'm going to add here, move you closer to what God wants for you. Move you closer to what God wants to do in and through you. We can add on here your family, right? Like this right here. Boom. Ah, that's a pretty color. I like that color. Move you closer to what God wants for you. What does God want for you? Do you know what that is? On this current earth, that does require some time and some money. And so the solvable problem is attaching a money number and a time number to what you want. And more specifically, it's then, that's the clarity part, right? That's helping you get clarity. Go ahead and move that up here. Right, so that's clarity. Then it's about certainty. How do we guarantee this is going to happen? Well, with decentralized finance, we can accelerate this. Not accelerate time, although that does happen, and I'll talk about that in just a second. We can actually guarantee, have a very, very, very high degree of certainty with low risk. So high degree of probability of moving us closer to what God wants for us, in us, and through us. Okay. And a low amount of risk. Okay. Dan in his IP, he talks about, least amount of effort. Sorry. Moves. Least amount of risk. Most amount of options. Okay. This right here, I'll highlight that in green. What does that look like? There we go. That's going to provide certainty right here. Highlight that in green also for us. Least amount of effort or moves, least amount of risk, most amount of options. Decentralized finance provides that. Decentralized finance provides that for you and your family. It provides it for smaller Christian ministries. It provides it for smaller Christian projects. So it does that. It ticks all the boxes, so to speak. Okay. Now, the third piece is the third C is collapse time. Because asymmetry is to the upside, we very naturally, very easily, with very little risk. I was trying to use the word risk and not use the word risk. Anyways, asymmetry to the upside, meaning it's a lot more simple. There's a lot less moves. There's a lot less risk, and there's more options. That is upside, right? Doing that, moving that asymmetry to the upside while reducing that risk just naturally happens in decentralized finance. So, and then because you have that, it takes a very small amount of money, a very small amount of time or effort to actually see a positive return. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot more about this right here. I didn't want to get into a huge lesson, but I wanted to give you kind of this overarching view here to help draw you in and to understand, again, the three R's: the rescue, restore, and make resilient. The three C's of the solvable problem that Dan Nicholson pioneered. The clarity, the certainty, the collapsing time. I talk about all that in this document. Okay, all that in this document. Honestly, I don't want to talk about the 6 C's of success today. I'm going to save that for another time. Okay, it's in the document if you want to go to it. Where is it here? One of our visual models from one of our businesses, the 6 C's of success. You're going to notice something very common in it: clarity, right? Clarity over chaos. Most people don't have clarity. Right there. Most people don't have clarity. They've not done the work. They've not taken the time to identify what it is they want for their life here on earth, what it is God wants for them here on this life, for their life here on this earth, and what is the money and the time attached to that. They don't have clarity. So they're living in chaos. In this document, I talk a little bit about how to overcome that. I already talked a little bit about why not, who. That's all been threaded throughout here. Again, page 3 in the document, you can go look at that if you want a little bit more detail. So let's talk about how to get involved. I'm not here to sell you anything. Okay? I'm not here to sell you anything. Kingdom Treasury has nothing for sale. They don't. I don't have anything for sale as Jason. But there's ways that you can get involved. Okay? You can learn how to do this for your family. You can learn how to do this for your friends. You could help them download this document. Click the gold button, name, email, click I'm not a robot, download it, read it, let it percolate, let it open up some loops for you in your mind. It's going to be a little bit like a fire hose to the face. A little bit. Going to be a little bit like a fire hose to the face. And I know that. I tell you that at the beginning. I'm very explicit on who should be reading it and who's not. So even if you download it, if you're like, I don't know if this is for me or not, and you're going to find out in the first couple of pages whether it's for you or not. And if it's not for you, that's totally cool, because it may not be for you right now at this time, or it may not be for you at any time. Maybe this just isn't your gig, and that's cool. Like, I love you still the same. I have no hard feelings against you. I probably won't even know who you are, right? So you can become involved first and foremost by downloading the document, reading it. You can become involved financially, prayer wise by becoming a supporter, or as a ministry, as one of these smaller Christian ministry, as one of these smaller Christian ministries or projects that emphasize rescue, restoration, and resilience, you can become involved that way by being a recipient of some of the funding. Well, Jason, I don't know if my ministry or my project covers resilience. I don't know if it covers restoration. I don't know if it covers rescuing. It doesn't have to cover all three. Okay, just fit into one of those three buckets. I've intentionally made it broad enough that for the most part, it's going to be pretty hard to not qualify under one of these buckets. Yes, we do have a vetting process that we, just from a due diligence standpoint, we need to go through, right? Need to make sure that I'm aware of a missionary that restores airplanes, right? Well, we want to make sure that the funding is going towards, the airplanes that are delivering Bibles across the world, or seeds to Africa, or whatever, and not to your Learjet and you're flying back and forth between Walt Disney World, the Bahamas, and whatever, I don't know, Denali in Alaska, right? Like, those are all amazing things. Like, those are all places. I haven't been to Denali. I have not been to Denali, but I've been to the other ones. All amazing stuff of God's creation. I don't want to rob you of enjoying that stuff. Like, that's not my goal. At the same time, kind of like once you're in, so to speak. So we got to do a little bit of due diligence up front to make sure you're a legit mission / project. But then, yeah, I can give more details on how it works if you're interested. So if you're interested, you can click this gray button up here. It's going to open up a form. Okay. Google form, just contact me. It's going to give you a little bit of information to tell you whether or not, are you interested in being a supporter or a supportee? Send that to me by clicking the submit button. And then the other way you can get involved is, again, by donating. Now, I've got two different ways that you can donate. You can donate through the Give, Send, Go campaign. I did it that way just for the ease of being able to donate fiat, right? Fiat currency, US dollars, paper money, so to speak, on your debit or credit card. So you can donate that way. Or if you're already involved in decentralized finance, maybe you have some crypto, this should not be foreign to you. So I just gave you the wallet addresses, and then make sure that you complete this form. Okay. So those are the ways that you can become involved. And I just realized that I wasn't sharing my screen. I gotta love it, right? I was talking to you looking at my screen, but the screen wasn't on. So here we go. Just real quick. Gold button. Again, gold button. Download the document that I was walking through a couple things. Okay. Download that right there. Okay. Read through it. You'll know if it's for you or not. If it's for you, you can go a step further. You can implement it as is. You can become a supporter financially or through prayer, or you can apply to becoming a supportee. Click this gray button right here. A form will open up for you. Sorry. It's a Google form. Again, just fill that out. And then if you want to actually donate funding, you can see here, click that. Take you down here. You can do fiat through Give, Send, Go campaign, or you can donate directly through crypto, certain tokens, and to certain wallet addresses for Kingdom Treasury. That's if you're already in the DeFi space, that'll make perfect sense to you and shouldn't be an issue. Okay. So if you don't know how to do this and you're like, oh yeah, I want to donate crypto, great. If you don't know how to do it, just donate through the Give, Send, Go. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the seed capital at the moment. We can talk about that later. Okay. So we support smaller Christian ministries and projects that emphasize rescue, restoration, and resilience across creation. How to get involved, I just told it to you. go click the gold button, go click the gray button. I'll help you as much as I can. And when I say I'll help you, I mean, like, I'll make sure that you get pointed in the right direction. Going forward, after this video, because I've already got a number of people that are like, yeah, man, I'm on board. And I'm getting text messages and I'm helping them and I'm hopping on Zooms and I'm repeating a lot of the same stuff, which is cool. But that's just not stewarding my time as efficiently as I could be. And so I'm moving the hand holding, so to speak, the detailed how to. It's the Google Doc is already detailed. Like you should be able to figure it out from there. But if you just want to be a part of a community that's in prayer together, that you want to be in part of a community that is growing together inward, not only spiritually, but just in our mind, right? Like the Bible talks about renewing our mind. If you want to grow, kind of almost like a mastermind, right? If you want to be a part of a community that's gelling together, jamming together, supporting the kingdom of God together, then you're going to want to probably join our private Discord. I do not have that. The server is in development. I have most of the channels outlined. I do not yet have the curriculum in there right this second. That is on my to-do list here this week. So I'll be moving the quote-unquote curriculum, which the curriculum is really what's in the Google Doc already. I'm going to have to sneeze here. Or not. I thought I had to. Okay. So the private Discord will be where you can get a lot more step-by-step how-to videos, step-by-step how-to instructions on how to do decentralized finance, and particularly what we do, yield farming with a particular ecosystem. And yeah, so that will be for that. Our supportees, people receiving funding here in the near future, will be in that Discord. You'll be able to connect with them on a deeper level. We'll probably do some public videos where they come on and I interview them, or my wife interviews them, or whatever. Just jam together, pray for them, learn more about their mission and their organization and what they're doing, and like how specifically they're rescuing, restoring, or making resilient. Right? Okay. So I'm going to leave that here. I'm just under an hour. I want to say thank you for sticking with us. Go to our website, kingdomtreasury.org. Okay. Put it on the screen here. I'll put it in the notes, HTTPS, kingdomtreasury.org. Go to that website right there, kingdomtreasury.org. It's going to take you here to this website. Not all of our socials are on here, I don't think. Let me just see. I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. YouTube is not on there. It will be. So if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe and click the little bell to be notified when I go live. The structure moving forward. I'll have some public videos, but most everything moving forward will be inside the private community that's going to be on Discord. So if you want that help, if you want to connect deeper, you're going to want to become a member of the private community. Okay. Basically, what does it entail? A suggested $100 donation, either in crypto or fiat, to Kingdom Treasury to build that base case. Okay. And if you don't know what base case means, then you're going to want to download the document I've already pointed you to. Okay. So you're going to want to do your own research and understand that stuff. So the money does not come to me. The money goes directly into building the asset base of Kingdom Treasury so that we can funnel funds into the kingdom of God ASAP. Okay. So structure moving forward, most everything will be inside of Discord. Occasionally we'll do some public stuff, especially if we have supportees on, etc. Okay. Balance. I'd like to say, hey, I'm going to go live publicly, once a week, and privately in Discord 2 times a week. I just can't make that commitment. I'd be setting myself up to failure. So most often I will go live, or even in some cases or pre-recorded video, but 90% of the time I'll try to go live That's really, I'm kind of inspired to, as God really kind of leads me to. God puts something on my heart. Again, in the curriculum side of things inside Discord will be, some very specific initial videos that dive deep, where I kind of teach and help rewire your brain on how to think about some of this stuff. Because it's not just about finances, not just about money. Like, I'm not here to compete with Dave Ramsey or, I can't even think of other names of the Susie Orman and all these people. Like, that's not my gig. I'm not here for that. If you love Dave Ramsey, great. I don't know that this is going to be perfect for you. I like Dave Ramsey. There's stuff he does great, and there's other stuff that I don't agree with. And that's okay, right? Like, we don't have to agree with each other. We just have to understand each other. And so the balance, I will try to produce some sort of content every week for you outside the curriculum. And then certainly within the Discord, I'll be more active within that on a really probably a daily basis. I don't know that I'm going to spend 8 hours a day inside of Discord, but if people have questions and that sort of stuff, then hop into the Discord. Access, I already talked about that. A suggested donation as of this point in time, $100. Okay, that's cheap. What you're getting into. If you were to actually join the Wolf Den, which is a community that I'm a part of, which teaches some of this stuff, teaches a solvable problem, that sort of stuff. That's about $1,700 to get into the first tier of that, and there's like 7 or 8 tiers. Kingdom Treasury, there's one tier right now, $100 donation. And that'll get you access to the hand-holding, the support, the deeper community, the relationships. And again, that doesn't go to me. That goes straight into the base case. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope to see you on the inside as soon as the Discord is ready. I'll put the link here in the show notes, into the description, whatever you want to call it. Or you can go ahead and fill out that form on our website and make sure that you get access to everything. Alrighty? Thanks. Talk to you later. Let's steward today so we can give hope tomorrow, okay? Let's help rescue. Let's help restore. Let's help make things resilient across creation while we're here on this earth. Cheers. Love you guys. Bye.